if you haven't noticed already, we dropped main event probably like a month ago.
Yeah.
And Lucha Underground's been gone for a couple months, so NXT's been kind of by itself because Cruiserweight Classic gets its own video.
Uh-huh.
Well, now, Lucha Underground is back.
Yes, it is.
So we have a full-on midweek wrap-up, which we're going to start with NXT. This is the second episode back at Full Sail. We open up with a tag team match where TM61 took on two people eliminated from the Cruiserweight Classic in Tony Nese and Arya Daivari.
Hey, how about that? We just got the Arya Daivari picture.
Yeah, hey.
In an unboxing that
which
you
you
can
should
watch.
Go check out over on Reasonable Wrestling Fans. Down in the description. Reasonable with a W.
Reasonable with a W. You can't see it, but I'm hip thrusting right now.
That's also where we got this shirt.
Holy cow.
So, I didn't expect, like, I know that Coda and, Sean Maluda and, all the people that have been coming on and doing, like, little guest spots on NXT have gotten a lot of offense. I didn't expect Arya and Tony to run as much of this match as they did. Because they had quite a bit of time being dominant over TM61.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was the right, right place, right time.
Definitely.
Moment. Because it helps that TM61, even though they've been around for a little while now, they're not overly established yet.
Yeah.
They're one of the more sporadically used tag teams on the roster.
Yeah.
Especially because, right around the time they came in is when a lot of the tag teams were, like, disappearing.
Yeah, and it was like the tail end of Revival versus American Alpha.
Yeah. So there was a lot of overshadowing going on. And, I mean, it's just sort of one of those things that if you, like, break down a lot of matches in their formula zone, the heel gets to have that time in the match a lot of the ways, and they were working the heel role. So.
Yeah, and it worked that they had names in the WWE scene since they had both had very standout moments in the Cruiserweight Classic. Nick Miller ends up getting knocked out of the ring by Daivari after he tosses Tony Nese out of the ring. Nese is unable to get back into the flow of things as Thorne is able to take back control over Daivari, hitting a massive clothesline. Tags in Nick Miller. They end up hitting Thunder Valley, and TM61 picks up the tag team win. Fun match to watch.
What was Daivari's standout moment in the Cruiserweight Classic?
Well,
losing to a Hong Kong toothpick?
Well, I mean, that was the best match that Ho Ho Lun had in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean...
His match against Noam Dar wasn't all that great.
You know what? I like this match with Noam Dar better.
I didn't.
It's because you're a Noam Dar hater.
I am. We had an interview with Asuka. She had so much fun with this interview. I feel like she felt so confident and so... I don't know, she felt like she believed every single thing she said in this interview.
Yeah, I did feel that, however, it was slightly choppy. So I felt like there was a lot of editing happening.
Probably.
Potentially some translation going on.
Yeah, I definitely think there was a translator, because there was a few times when she looked off camera.
Yeah. Well, that was another one, too, is that she spent a lot of the time staring at... Was Tom that was doing the interview?
Yeah, it was Tom.
It's staring at him or just past him rather than the camera that was focused on her. Yeah,
I mean, she said a few things to the camera, but it was an interview. She was supposed to be talking to Tom. But yeah, there was a few times where she was looking in a very neutral direction, but saying stuff that, she respects Bayley, and Bayley worked hard at NXT TakeOver, but she worked harder. And then she talked about how there's no one on the roster that's ready to face Asuka.
And, I mean, with the fact that Bayley's now called up to the main roster, I think she's absolutely right.
Yeah. Speaking of interviews, we had an interview with Steve Cutler, who says that Shinsuke Nakamura hasn't sacrificed enough.
What has Shin ever done?
So, first off, you're getting a match with Shinsuke Nakamura because you think you're a big fucking deal. And now you're on a half a name basis with him? Bro, you are asking for Kinshasa.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Literally, he's hoping to get Shin's shin in his face.
Well, he's on the right track at this point.
Shin.
That's our main event. We'll talk about that in just a second. We had Ember Moon make her Full Sail debut as she took on Leah Vaughn, a.k.a. Leah Vaughn Dutch.
Yeah, it was a good match, and it's kind of on that progression where Asuka saying that there isn't any woman on the roster ready for her yet, but I feel like Ember Moon's performance could be fast-tracking her on her way there.
Yeah, no, both matches she's had, she's been very precise, very consistent. She hasn't had any flubs yet.
Very physically aggressive.
Yeah, which allows her to immediately be kind of compared to Asuka because they're both about the same height, both very stocky ladies, and she's got a lot of power added to the finesse that she puts into her performance. Yeah, I mean, Leah got a little bit of offense on, but it was mostly it was Ember Moon's show. She took control back, ends up hitting the twisting stunner, and Ember Moon picks up her first win at Full Sail University.
I want to say that move will eventually be called the Lunar Eclipse.
You know, I was waiting for them to call it something. I'm surprised they didn't. But yeah, I'd gather to say that within the next 2 or 3 weeks we'll have a name for it. No Way Jose was interviewed about Bobby Roode coming in and
how damn glorious he is.
Yeah, and and interrupting his interview.
And they say you disrespected No Way Jose, but I disagree because he said he had a nice head.
Yeah, I didn't really get the disrespect either.
And No Way, I felt like No Way Jose didn't feel disrespected either.
Nah.
He just kind of like rolled with it because that's what question they asked him.
Yeah, he's like, he can come in here, he can be glorious. He's got a nice jacket, got nice slacks, nice shoes.
Yeah, he complimented
Yeah.
Bobby Roode. These guys actually like each other. They're going to be a tag team.
I feel like management is trying to pit them against each other, but they're like, no, we're like really good friends.
We compliment each other's shit all the time. That's what I want them to do, because we find out that we're going to have a match between the two of them.
Yeah, that'll be on next week.
Next week. But, that's the first thing was, I want them to, shake hands before the match and just Bobby Roode to go, nice handshake.
You too, man. That entrance, that was glorious. They just stand there for 15 minutes and talk.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you wanna go grab coffee or something?
And then they exit to a club remix of Glorious.
Yes. Speaking of Glorious, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano.
Hashtag DIY.
We saw them in the back. Tommaso getting checked out after the massive shatter machine he took at the hands of the Revival. Johnny came in, making sure he was doing okay. Ciampa making sure Johnny's knee was doing all right, because Johnny is letting him know that William Regal has given them another chance to earn another shot at the Revival in a tag team match that'll take place at the Cruiserweight Classic finale next week.
Nice.
So that should be. There's
something that's going to go between the semifinals and the finals.
Yeah, I don't think they mentioned.
They didn't say opponents.
They didn't mention opponents, but I'm guessing it'll probably be two guys from the Cruiserweight Classic.
Yeah. Probably.
But yeah, that's cool. That's a little bit of cross promotion. You get more eyes on Cruiserweight Classic if people want to know what's going to be happening on NXT.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that the Garganta versus the Revival thing is going to continue a little bit longer. So I'm excited
for that.
Yeah, I'm totally down for that. We had Austin Aries versus Andrade Cien Almas. Full Sail's turning on Andrade real fast. Because I feel like every week they give less and less of a shit about him.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate, because he's good.
He's good, but I feel the same way, to be completely honest. He is good.
I can't say he's my favorite.
At the same time, he hasn't given me anything that's made me go, oh yeah, he's going to be popular.
Yeah.
Per se, maybe I think about him in the same sense you think of Noam Dar, where it's like
He hasn't given.
He's there. He's got stuff, but I'm waiting for where's the good stuff.
Yeah.
Like, why was it a big deal that you got vignettes leading up to your debut? You know.
To be honest, like his character is about as exciting as his vignettes were, which is not very.
He does have a T-shirt.
Yeah, he's got $100 bill, because CN means 100.
Which that's like 10 times 10.
Yeah, we learned that in his short feud with Ty Dillinger.
Thank you, Lita.
But yeah, he ended up not being 100, I guess, against Austin Aries, as Austin Aries would pretty much outdo anything Almas wanted to do to him, and almost kind of had this last moment where he went for a springboard head scissors that was immediately turned into a power bomb, and he was flipped over, and then
because he did the same little flip move to No Way Jose at Takeover, where he slammed him down and then like rolled him, and then flipped over into the last chancery, which I think is a cool thing. Like if you can find moves where he can keep repeatedly slamming them down on the ground with enough momentum that he can flip them, and then flip himself.
Yeah, it's a good succession of moves.
It's like the bam flip flip.
And with the bam flip flip, Austin Aries defeated Andrade Cien Almas. And then in the main event, shocker, Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Steve Cutler.
No way.
Yep.
Alright, I believe it. Samoa Joe's at commentary.
Yeah,
that was like the biggest thing.
Yeah, that was the most important part of this match. There was nothing. It's weird to say that Shinsuke's match was not important, but the commentary that was happening was.
And I mean, to an extent, it was also just like so weird because Joe was just really subdued and very.
He was trying so hard not to just lose his mind. Like, he was trying to be very, very reserved. He's probably walking that line like, okay, if I do everything right, Regal will give me that shot. And he's probably just trying to stay on good behavior.
Biding his time.
And we saw that even more, that after Shinsuke won, he's kind of like posing with the title and looking over at Joe. He's like, hey, look what I got. And Joe just like sits there for a second and then can't take it anymore and gets up and you think, oh, he's going to walk to the ring. No, he just walks to the back. He wasn't even gonna give Shinsuke the time.
Yeah, well, I think Joe is learning you attract more flies with honey than vinegar.
That was deep and very profound. Thank you for that. That's it for NXT. You know. Let's move on to Season 3 of Lucha Underground.
And man, do we start off with a bang if I ever said there was one.
Yeah, Dario doing pull-ups in prison.
Yeah, and I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about just like one of the biggest legend appearances in the history of Lucha Underground. Because Dario is getting released.
Yeah, we see a guard come up and say, man, you must have friends in high places, as he's releasing him from his cell. Idea. And so Dario walks up and he's getting his personal effects back.
Yeah, and the guard handing him back his personal effects.
Officer Odell.
None other than the Honky Tonk Man.
The Honky Tonk Man, the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time.
Which I might not have recognized him had I not met him like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, no, yeah. A cool little cameo for the wrestling fanatics that are watching Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dario gets released.
Brutus Beefcake must have been busy.
Dario gets in a limo. He's got the
no disrespect meant.
He's got the other cop type person that was trying to shut down the case against him. They helped him. He helped bail him out, and then we also see Thanos' hand, or the armored hand of this person who has way more power than Dario, who he's been paying to keep the temple running.
Which I still think is Thanos. This is gonna tie into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I'm
Aerostar.
down for that.
Aerostar is gonna be the connecting.
Is that why he had that Iron Man looking get up?
Yeah.
Oh, Aerostar is the new Aaron Man.
Rice Man?
Aaron Man.
Aaron Sanchez, the Mexican chef.
Who? What? Moving on.
I watch Food Network.
Moving on, we go to commentary where Vampiro makes a very big statement saying that he's nobody's master and he doesn't want to deal with anything that happened at the end of Ultima Lucha Dos. He's not giving anyone advice. He doesn't want to deal with anything Pentagon Dark. He doesn't care.
That's how I solve all my problems too.
What?
Just immediately say I don't want anything to do with these anymore and ignore them and pretend that they weren't there and hope they go away.
It's the only way to go. We have Dario in the ring, who is starting the night off big by saying, first off, our main event is going to be Rey Mysterio Jr. versus Pentagon Dark.
Yeah.
And then, on top of that, our first match is going to be Matanza defending the Lucha Underground Championship against a to-be-determined opponent.
Yeah, so starting the season off with a title match.
Yeah. Now, how do we decide who faces Matanza for the Lucha Underground Championship?
Rochambeau.
No.
Tic-tac-toe.
No.
Connect foe.
No. I'll give you one more guess.
Ooh, I know. One of those Royal Rumble tumblers.
Close. We had Dario's Dial of Doom.
Ah, the Triple D.
Which was,
not Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. Another Food Network
also
reference.
Food Network. What the fuck? No, this was legit a giant wheel with the cheesiest logo on it possible. And the names of all the people who hadn't faced Matanza one-on-one for a championship match yet in Lucha Underground. So you had Mario Poza up there, you had the Mac, you had Son of Havoc, you had there was a ton of people up there, and so that was going to be determining who would fit. I wonder if this is going to be a continuous thing.
I think so. I think this might be a weekly thing even.
Yeah. We're just gonna have weekly.
Because I think the whole idea is that Dario wants his brother just to mow over everyone on the roster.
There's a good chance that'll happen. So, the wheel the dial, my bad. The dial spins, it lands on Son of Havoc. So Son of Havoc opening Lucha Underground Season 3, getting a title match against Matanza, and boy did he come to play.
He gave Matanza a run for his money.
He even tried to show off his power, getting Matanza up like fireman's carry.
I was impressed.
Yeah, no, Matanza did one of the laziest moonsaults I've ever seen, where legit his arms were just at his side the whole time. Just looked like during the moonsault he went, I don't care.
Dare I say it was a mid-salt.
Yeah, there you go, it was a mid-salt. And then
he followed that up but with a shooting star
headbutt.
It was like a shooting star graze.
It was a shooting star. I'm pin you now. That mask messes him up. He can't do a whole lot in that mask.
The landings are off.
Yeah. The match, though, I mean, this was a good a good starting match for Son of Havoc for Season 3.
Yeah.
Especially after getting screwed out of the contract during Ultima Lucha by Dr. Wagner. I mean, he kind of got his revenge. It wasn't at Ultima Lucha Trace, but it was still a title match. He still got a chance. Unfortunately, despite all of his attempts, he ends up going for a springboard, gets caught, and hit with the Wrath of the Gods, and Matanza retains the Lucha Underground Championship.
Yeah.
Speaking of championship matches, Johnny Mundo wants one.
But Dario's like, brah, you ain't gonna get one. You losed.
But, alright, fine. If I can't get one, then put me against Sexy Star, and I'll take the Gift of the Gods Championship.
Bitch, please.
You still lost. All of you lost. Except for Taya.
Taya did win her Ultima Lucha
Taya
match.
won her match at Ultima Lucha.
Even though it was because of Katrina.
Yeah. So, Taya is going to get a shot against Sexy Star for the Gift of the Gods Championship for a potential match against Matanza for the Lucha Underground Championship.
Yes. During this segment, we also found out that what are they called?
The Worldwide Underground?
Worldwide Underground, WWU, or WWUG, WUG. We learned that WUG also attacked Angelico after Ultima Lucha 2 because he interfered.
Yeah, he was the reason they lost the Trios Championships.
Yeah, so they, WUG beat him up in the parking lot.
The WUG. I like it. So WUG is not happy. Taya's getting a shot at a title. Just before we go to that championship match, though, we do have Ivelisse challenge Katrina due to her interference at Ultima Lucha to a match at Ultima Lucha Trace.
Yes.
And Katrina showed up looking all leathered out and hot, and she said, "Bitch."
Hot and bothered.
Yes.
That's what I was.
So we have our first Ultima Lucha Trace match announced right now. We have Katrina versus Ivelisse.
Yes, it's going to be a week-long spectacle.
A week long?
Well, I mean, the Ultima Lucha Dose was 3 nights. I'm assuming. Well, maybe if it was maybe 5. Maybe there'll be 5 nights of Ultima Lucha Trace. Jumping to 7 might have been a leap.
Okay.
Oh wait, everybody on the roster gets a match.
Anyway, we go to...
Main event is going to be Matanza defending the championship against Ricky Mandel.
Good lord.
That'll be the last name on the dial.
That'll be their series finale when they lose all their money. Not gonna happen because Lucha Underground is pretty popular right now.
It's fucking awesome.
Sexy Star versus Taya. Good match. Good to see more ladies having good, solid matches in Lucha Underground. I know that we're supposed to see Candice LeRae sometime this season, so that's exciting. But yeah,
I'm all for that.
Sexy Star defending that championship. You know, she worked hard all season 2 trying to break away from the crazy Martinez family and just, you know, trying to correct herself, and she won the championship. She's looking forward to getting the Lucha Underground championship match. So she was fighting with everything she had, and she's out there by herself. Eventually, Taya gets some help.
Yeah, and another thing that you want to specifically note on is that Sexy Star might start this match feeling backed into a corner because no one's ever successfully defended the Gift of the Gods championship.
Whoa, really?
Mm-hmm.
Just blew my mind. Damn. Well, that really didn't help her chances then when the WUG came out.
Yeah, the rest of WUG showed up.
And the referee was distracted as PJ Black and Jack Evans came from one side. Mundo goes over, and as Sexy Star's backed up against the ropes, he grabs onto her hair and is holding her there for Taya to run at her and hit her with something. So Taya runs at the ropes. Sexy Star's able to move out of the way. Mundo gets a face full of Taya's knees, and then Sexy Star is able to small package Taya. 1, 2, 3.
4, 5, 6.
She holds on to that friggin' pin because she's not letting it go for anything. Finally does. WUG attacks Sexy Star. All 4 of them. Like, gang beatdown on Sexy Star. Luckily, she's got super friends.
Yeah.
And the Trios champions, Aerostar, Drago, and Phoenix all come out and make the save. I think we're looking at a potential 8-person tag team match coming up fairly soon.
Holy cow.
Probably next week's main event.
How do you say Justice League in Spanish?
Super friends.
Super amigos.
Super amigos. We had Marty the Moth trying to get into the good graces of Dario.
He wanted a title shot. Everybody, dude, first night back, and everybody's getting really demanding with
You know what
the
it
title
was?
picture.
They thought back to the beginning of season 2 where everyone was just telling Mil Muertes that they were coming for him and going to beat him for the championship. And they're like, that's how you get it. You have to go in there, you have to make the challenge, but no one's going to go right up to Matanza. They know they have to go through Dario first. So they're just like, hey Dario, you should give me a title shot. And every time Dario's like, no. but you can have this match instead. And Marty the Moth now has a Weapons of Mass Destruction, aka probably a no-holds-barred match, against Killshot for the dog tags that he stole last season.
Yeah.
So Killshot's going to be coming back, getting some revenge on
His
Marty
name
the
was
Moth.
also on the
Yes.
Dial O Doom.
It was indeed.
I think both of their names were.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because neither of them have gotten a one-on-one match. I think that match is happening next week.
I'm pretty sure that's what Daria is.
That might actually end up being our main event next week, so we'll have to wait and see. But that should be good. I mean, Marty the Moth and Killshot have had great matches so far. I'm excited for this one. This time they just get to beat the hell out of each other with whatever the hell they can find. So,
yeah,
cool on them. Then we go to our main event, which is Rey Mysterio Jr. versus Pentagon Dark. Rey Mysterio still looking good. Pentagon Dark a little bit even more physical than he's been now that he's kind of had that transformation. The all black outfit is like even scarier than the.
He's very spoopy.
Did you say spoopy?
Mm-hmm.
Why'd you say spoopy? Oh,
not literally.
Never mind. Okay. No. Awesome match. I'm glad that Rey Mysterio's back into his regular like lucha self. It's fun to watch
so
him
refreshing.
really work. And him and Pentagon, awesome chemistry. Pentagon, gets on the physical side of things, is able to beat down Rey Mysterio, and at one point the commentary, Matt Stryker mentions something about Pentagon Dark, and it pisses Vampiro off, and he's like, what did I tell you at the beginning of the show? I don't want to talk about it. Don't bring that up. And he's mad. And then after Pentagon has the momentum on his side, he actually goes out and gets in the face of Vampiro,
yeah,
which causes Vampiro to just get up and walk away. Like,
so maybe discretion being the better part of valor here, and Vampiro taking the high road and deciding deciding that if he knew maybe if he stuck around that he was gonna end up getting involved in the match and ruining it, or ending up costing his friend Rey Mysterio a victory.
Yeah. Whatever the case may be, he leaves. So this leaves Matt Stryker on commentary by himself. Match doesn't last too much longer because that moment that Pentagon gave Rey Mysterio kind of allows him to get back into the swing of things. He ends up hitting a 619 and then topping it off with a Destroyer and defeating Pentagon Dark.
Yeah, it was kind of a, Pentagon had his reasons, I'm assuming, for going out and yelling at Vampiro.
Well, so he attacked Vampiro at the end of Ultima Lucha Dos. He just wanted to make sure that he remembers what Pentagon did to him.
But comparatively to being in the ring with Rey Mysterio, it was a rookie mistake.
Absolutely. When you're going against someone like Rey Mysterio, you need to have all your focus on your opponent. So Rey Mysterio picks up the win. Pentagon's not done. He attacks Rey while he's celebrating, tries to go for the arm breaker, and is actually thwarted and ran off by Dragon Azteca Jr. So Dragon Azteca Jr. probably realizing, the way he treated Mysterio, and then knowing how that feels because him and Black Lotus both had that happen to them at Ultima Lucha. Not wanting to see that happen to his mentor, makes the save. Will probably see a very unfortunate situation where Dragon Azteca will probably have to face Pentagon Jr., and that won't be good for him. But we'll see where that goes. But before we end the show, Vampiro, who's made his way back to the locker room, happens upon Prince Puma, who's kind of like remembering what happened between him and Rey Mysterio at Ultima Lucha. And Vampiro's like, hey man, I know what you're going through. I've been there. Losing sucks. But you really haven't been yourself since you lost to Mil Muertes. So Mil Muertes is the one that threw you off. You need to get back in your game by taking out Mil Muertes. And Puma, is very curious. He's like, oh, I'm surprised you're not sending me after Pentagon.
Yeah, and Vampiro's just like, hey, no, it's not about me. It's about you.
Yeah, so...
which is kind of weird because I thought it was earlier in the day he said he wasn't going to be giving anybody any more advice.
Pentagon got in his face, and he's like, you know what, you better give someone advice. He goes, all right, I'm going to do that. So he went back to the locker room, and he gave the advice to Prince Puma.
Saying, I think there's a bigger this is a means to an end for somebody, for something. Because Vampiro's not a guy who goes back on his word.
We'll have to wait and see for future episodes of Lucha Underground Season 3.
Like next week.
Yeah, but that's it for the midweek wrap-up. Thanks for watching.
Oh, hell yeah. Like and comment, subscribe, all y'all.
Hell yeah, do that stuff. Click all the links down in the description. They'll send you to all of our social medias.
Social medias for days.
For those of you that are on the YouTubes, there's also a podcast link you can rather listen to us.
It's called SoundCloud.
And for those of you that are listening to the podcast, thank you very much. But there's a YouTube link down in the description as well.
Yeah, it's for videos.
Yeah, extra videos.
You don't get all the J-E-O's.
You don't get all the stuff we do podcast style. Because this week, we've got the second half of the Cruiserweight Classic quarterfinals. We got Backlash predictions.
Yeah, we're going to predict some backlashing.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff. And then,
speaking of backlashing, head over to Reasonable Wrestling Fans. To say Reasonable Reason Fans. No, Reasonable Wrestling Fans. W2F. Over there, it's our other channel. Our not ReviewTube, but it's our YouTube channel. Where you get to see us do things like unboxings. There's a new unboxing this week.
There is indeed.
That t-shirt is part of it. What else was part of it? We mentioned something earlier, didn't we?
The Aria Davari.
Yeah, Aria Davari picture. And also, I lash him on the back with a kendo stick.
My back still hurts. So go check it out. Have a laugh. It's awesome. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next.
Fuck.
Steve Cutler?
Jack Evans.
Yeah, fuck Jack Evans.
Hit people in the butt. Balls and shit.
Sticking his finger up. Stupid.